Star Wars. It's a household name, a giant merchandising machine, and one of the most successful and beloved movie franchises of all time. But to many people out there, including myself, it's so much more than all that. This is Anthony, aka the Almighty Hutt, and let's examine just a few of the reasons Star Wars means so much to so many people. Now, starting with a personal story. I've loved Star Wars since I was a toddler. I had all the movies, toys, clothes, you name it. But as I grew older, I began to think about why this franchise connected with me so deeply to the point where it's a large part of who I am. So when I went to my first Star Wars celebration earlier this year in Chicago, gathered with thousands upon thousands of people who were there for the same reason I was, I began to realize something. Star Wars, and fandoms in general, have the ability to unite people from all different walks of life under one umbrella, where everyone is accepted and everyone has a common interest. But why did I choose Star Wars, or why did Star Wars choose me, I suppose? 3 reasons I can think of off the top of my head are these: escapism, relatability, and belonging. Now let's dive deeper into what each of those words mean in this context. Escapism. Defined in the dictionary as the tendency to seek distraction and relief from unpleasant realities, especially by seeking entertainment or engaging in fantasy. This is the core of many stories, but Star Wars really takes it to another level. It all starts with those famous words, "a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away." A spin on the classic fairy tale line of "Once Upon a Time." It's right here that George Lucas was letting viewers of the original film in 1977 know that they weren't just watching a movie. They were going on an adventure, having an experience, and one that they'd likely never forget. It's this idea of escaping into not just a film, not just a story, but another galaxy filled with various characters, creatures, and places that makes Star Wars, well, Star Wars for me. It's why I know now that every time I read those now famous words, I'm about to be transported to that galaxy to go on an adventure with these characters. It's surreal, the feelings I get just from reading those 10 words, and the reason those words are so important is this. My life isn't perfect, nobody's life is perfect. So the fact that George Lucas gave us all the ability to forget about our lives, even if only for a few hours, and be told an awe-inspiring story in another galaxy, is a gift that I and many others can never repay him. Some people out there right now might be going through possibly the toughest point in their life, whatever that may be, but things like Star Wars might be what's keeping them sane, because Star Wars isn't just a movie, it's an experience, an adventure, a distraction, an escape. But for a story and universe that by design is so foreign, with creatures, places, and concepts we could have never even imagined, how is it that Star Wars manages to feel so relatable, so real? For me, this one comes down to the characters within the universe. Sure, Luke Skywalker might be the son of Space Hitler, and sure, he might be able to lift things with his mind, but I'd be mistaken if I said his story wasn't still somehow relatable. This is another part of the magic of Star Wars. These characters are all so different from us, whether it's because they can use the Force, or even because they're a completely made-up species. But their struggles are ones we can identify with, their feelings are real to us, and the things and loved ones that they fight for make sense to us. Star Wars is relatable because every kid, or the kid inside of all of us, at some point or another, has been that Luke Skywalker, standing on a hill, overlooking the twin suns of Tatooine and longing for something. And when Luke finally ignites that green lightsaber in Return of the Jedi to fight for his friends, it's who we all aspired to be. The fact that Star Wars has such a variety of characters that we either love or love to hate also means that there are so many characters that people can identify with, and that's amazing. For example, my favorite character in the entire franchise is Yoda. We're talking about a 2-foot-tall green alien with pointy ears whose species we don't even know, and yet I admire his wisdom, his foresight, and his ability to always seem to know the right path forward, because those are qualities I wish to have in myself. I find it so amazing that everyone who loves Star Wars has a character or characters that they love and can identify with, because that's the power of Star Wars storytelling. And finally, when I went to Celebration earlier this year, bringing things full circle now, I felt like I belonged to something. Again, seeing thousands of people who were all there for their love of the same thing I was there for really sparked this idea in me that Star Wars is really important to so many people, and just where would we all be without it? I got to see some of my favorite Star Wars content creators that I admire, some of my favorite Star Wars writers. I met new friends, and when it was all over, I was first of all sad, but I also began to think about what this universe means to us all. Because on top of being an escape and having characters we can relate to, it's a home. If it weren't for Star Wars, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I certainly wouldn't be making this video, I wouldn't have some of my favorite stories of all time, but I also wouldn't have the feeling that I belong to something much bigger than myself. Being able to talk to people online about a fictional universe so in depth, meeting people from all around the world that all love this one thing, it really says something to me. It says that no matter what people may be going through, no matter how lost some of us may feel, we can always enjoy this universe together, united as a single fandom. Even if we don't all enjoy certain parts of the universe all the same, we're all still grateful to be a part of this fandom, and that's really something special. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to drop a like and subscribe, and stay tuned next week for more Star Wars content. Until then, thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you all.